Have you ever thought about your car personality? What's your vibe? Do you like the classic fully gas-powered engine? Or are you a best of both worlds type? Driving on battery power while keeping gas on reserve, just in case? Or are you more inclined to choose a convenient hybrid ride? Whichever your vibe, there's a Hyundai Tucson to match and powertrain to get you there. Hyundai's 2023 Tucson lineup pairs the tech you want with sleek and stylish designs. They paid attention to all the details, the seat, the dash, the available panoramic roof, you name it. Hyundai thought of it, all while making sure each trim has enough room to hold space for your grocery runs, festival nights, and tailgaters. Okay, Hyundai. When it comes to your journey, Hyundai is there for every mile. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the 2023 Hyundai Tucson. The 2023 Tucson plug-in hybrid is only sold in California, Connecticut, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
You cover a lane that really is all your own, you know, like creatively, artistically, athletically. I don't think, it's you, and I'm, no disrespect to anybody else out there. Whoever's number two, it's pretty far down the list before it gets to that. No disrespect, but that just goes to show the sort of like lane you've created for yourself and not just limiting yourself to BMX.
Yeah, right.
What you've done with BMX and what you've done to kind of like bring it to the masses is, like I said, among action sports athletes is one of one. Like,
we could talk about all the shit he's done. Let's talk about the shit with Nike, right?
Yeah.
The shoe.
First BMX athlete signed to Jordan?
Yeah, man. First BMX athlete signed to Jordan, and to have my own Jordan 1. You know what I mean? And just even those moments, right? Like, those are testaments to the hard work and the grind.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to another edition of Say Less with Kaz, Lowkey, and Rosy. I'm Kaz.
This low right here.
There is not
Rosy.
You're a little pale and lacked a certain genitalia to be Rosy, but
just a little pale.
Just a little
There's
pale.
no black tights.
pale.
There's no Jordans. It's just like, I don't know what.
Yeah, nice.
But it's hey, listen. Something to this, we're good.
None of that stuff. But I appreciate y'all for kicking it. Obviously, we have a guest in there today. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kazeem. Make sure you subscribe to patreon.com/sayless. Make sure you are checking us out on everywhere you stream podcasts: Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon, wherever the Stitcher, all the other joints. Make sure you get there. But that goes without saying.
Our guest is here, but our other co-host is not here, and it's
Rosy.
Like we've been talking about this for 12 hours. Nigel has been confirmed for a minute, and then now Rosy doesn't show up. And what was the excuse that she gave us?
So we was texting Rosy, and I'm like, all right, yo, you rolling up? You coming? And she was like, oh, we got to find a babysitter for Ryder. I'm waiting for Ryder's sitter. I was like,
Rosy, you knew he was coming
That's
at 1:30 on Thursday.
Yeah. That's terrible.
And the thing is, Rosy and Nigel have known each other for years, so this has been in the making for a minute.
Rosy has been campaigning for Nigel on this show for the past several months.
Right. And as busy as this man is, we finally got him to come to fucking Williamsburg. We finally got him to sit down for an hour and a half, and the main fucking component is not here.
Yo, I've known Rosy for over a decade, bro. For her not to show up today is crazy.
That's wild, bro. But
That's
we here with Nigel. He's got his new book out, so we're gonna make sure we get to the nitty gritty. But Rosy, I'm disappointed in you.
Rosy, we're gonna have a little talk after this, but nah, she's all good. But yeah, Nigel Sylvester, welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me.
What gets you out of bed to even have this sort of energy to do something like this?
I love this shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sure similar to what you guys feel when you creating or your shows or this show. Man, like, you guys love it. Like, there's something about it that fulfills you. You find purpose in it. Like, there's like a love for it. For me, like, it's the same thing with BMX. Like, I'm obsessed with riding my bike. Like, I literally love this shit. Like, there's certain nights where I'll try to go to sleep, but I can't because I'm thinking about a bike trick. Or I'm thinking about an idea. I'm thinking about a moment that I want to create and literally cannot go to sleep. And like it's that thing that keeps like that fire burning, and when you see like some of the like end results, right? When you look at like this book or some of the things we've done in the past, or a video concept that I'm able to take from my mind and now put it on the screen, man. Like there's nothing else like it. And there's nothing else that I've encountered in my life that makes me feel the way that bike riding does and everything that's around it.
You speak about the power of the internet, catching fire when you first started doing the Ghost series, and now you have this book. And I think, with this book and me knowing you personally, you have like the power of personality.
Thank you.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, no, and I'm not trying to just, because you're my mans, but speak on your, you conveying your personality with these brands, with people that don't even understand your world, without you, sacrificing and, going for the corporate route. How do you still stay that Queens kid in these boardrooms, conveying these deals, linking with these brands? How do you keep that intact?
And we're going to always keep it Queens, man. We're going to always do that, bro. Yeah. And I mean, you guys, we see each other outside, bro. I'm the same person,
guy,
like, no matter where I'm at. It's a blessing, bro. And I feel like there was a point early on in my career where I realized if I'm going to do this, I have to stay authentically me and have to be unapologetic, right? Because I'm doing something that people are not familiar with.
Yeah.
So I can't let the opinions or people's perception of it sway how I'm going to react or like what I'm going to put out into the world.
How often does that happen to you? I feel like, with all the brands that come to you, do they ever feel like, oh, we have this great idea for you, and you're just like, that ain't it.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time, bro. Like, there's definitely been opportunities where that will come to my table, real bread. I'm like, nah, I'm good. 'Cause it doesn't fit my brand.
Right.
Or I'll sit with my team and we'll go back and forth on something for days or weeks. And I'm like, you know what? As good as it potentially can be, it's not feeling right.
Right.
And I'm a person that moves with my gut. And my mom always says, like, that's probably one of God's like biggest blessings to me. Was like He's blessed me with an incredible gut, and I follow that. You know what I mean? Like, again, if my heart's not in it, I'm not moving with it. You know what I mean? I have to have that.
Now we mentioned the artist formerly known as Mr. Flawless, Greg Yuna.
That's my guy. Shout out to Greg.
He
spoke so highly.
We've had so many guests on this show. And the way he spoke about you, like the glow that he talks about you is like, y'all are kin. Like blood couldn't make y'all any closer, bro. And most of the times when I see you, y'all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's been plenty of times where I've ran into both of them at the same time, and it's just like a fucking tornado.
Right.
You
know you're in the right place when they're both there.
But it's just like
it's gonna be a good night.
I done seen both of them at the same time. Like, fuck.
Right.
How do you get out of this shit? And he knows exactly what
I
I'm
wonder how
talking
many people feel like that when we pull up to a spot.
Bro, I feel like that,
everybody.
bro. I feel like that.
Everybody.
I know I'm in the right spot when I see them two somewhere, and I'm just like, all right, this is gonna be one of them nights.
Yeah, like it's a positive fuck. Like, it's not like God damn, like
it's
these
definitely
niggas.
good fun.
Nah, yeah.
How did y'all meet? Like, what's y'all? I know y'all relationship goes beyond just business and stuff like that. He said y'all are brothers. Like,
that's my brother, man.
How did that relationship even spark between y'all two?
Well, first and foremost, like, that episode that you guys did with Greg, and I watched the whole thing, and I had to pause it at a certain point because I was like, this is too much for me, bro. Like, I couldn't watch it. I was like, this is love, man. And like, I appreciate you guys, like, having that episode and giving Greg that platform to speak and highlight everything he's doing, because he's an incredible human being, first and foremost. He's an artist, bro. Like, I feel before the jewelry, he's an artist. Like, even how he breaks down the jewelry designs to me in the process, I'm like, oh nah. Like, people may think, oh yeah, you just
he looks
put
like
some
completely
stones
different.
or something. Nah, it's completely different, bro. The way that he manipulates metals and stones,
colors,
and whatnot,
textures, and all. Yeah,
it's crazy, bro.
And the attention to detail that he puts into his pieces,
it's
precise,
especially the small ones. I'm just like, that dude is next level when it comes to this.
It's insane.
I'm assuming that's a Yuna piece right there, right?
Yeah, like Greg, you know, he's
I guess, but I guess you could compare like how they do their work. Like you just saying.
That was my question. I was gonna ask, like, as much as an athlete, I think a lot of people view you as a true artist, and you have that kind of appreciation for the art of something, and not like doing it for the money. Like an athlete, for example, might take just a sponsorship deal. It's about dollars and cents, but you value your brand on like a higher. And not your brand necessarily, but like your integrity as a
100%. I like how I view it is like my brand is an intersection of sport and art, and they're equally as important. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, as far as with Greg, how we met, we had the same manager at a certain point in time, and we just met like that between like our manager and then seeing each other at certain spots. And then he invited me to pull up to 6th Avenue. He's like, "You just pull up on me." Yeah. And at first I was like, I don't know, bro. and then I pulled up. I was like, oh, nah, man. Like, this dude is genuine. Like, he's dope. And his energy is infectious.
Yeah, man.
You'll never meet anyone else like Greg Yuna ever.
Facts.
You know what I mean? He's a true one-on-one. He cares. He's thoughtful. No, he's an incredible human being. He comes from great stock. His parents are amazing. I've sat down and ate dinner with them before, and his mom is amazing.
Word.
They're really, really good people, and he's a Queens cat.
Yeah, there's something about the cloth in Queens.
My dad's from Queens. My dad's from Corona.
I was born in
Corona, Queens.
Okay, dope.
Yeah. No, so like the first time I met, not the first time, but like the first time we really spoke, we were at Last Lap.
Yeah,
and I think this was after he did our podcast.
Okay,
and he was like, he pulled me to the side and he was just like, yo, what y'all did and what y'all doing is phenomenal. And it's like, you got to stay in that pocket. You got to stay true to like who you guys are, have those conversations, be weird, be fun, whatever the case is. And he said to me, he was like, yo, if you ever need anything, like I'll tell you up front if I can do it, if I can't. But please don't ever hesitate to reach out because I like what y'all doing and I'm attracted to what y'all doing.
That's a good man right there, man.
And I feel like that's just how, that's how he is. Every time we talk or whatever, he's like, yo, just let me know if you need anything or let me know if I can do it. If I can, I'll tell you. If I can't, I will. So it's just like that law of attraction is, sits perfect with them.
It's incredible, man.
100%. Like, again, like we're like yin and yang, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's so many similarities. So like, shout out to Greg, man. And
I like the
I
New
love
York,
you, bro.
Y'all like the New York ebony and ivory, bro.
Listen, that's a campaign waiting to happen.
I'm telling you,
all sponsors just know holla at Kaz.
Hey, man, listen, we can do it. We can do it, Crystal. Nah, man, like it's an incredible energy that you two have, and especially you, man. Like you bring so much of. When brands come to you, whether it be a Nike and see you do stuff with the Yankees and do stuff with all these other incredible brands, it's almost like they and it's what most creatives aim to have. It's like we're gonna come to you to do what you do well and elevate it, and not just we have this idea, let's just slap this person on it, and if this person isn't good for it, we can get somebody else who's just in the same lane. Like you cover a lane that really is all your own, like creatively, artistically, athletically. I don't think, it's you and I'm, no disrespect to anybody else out there. Whoever's number two, it's pretty far down the list before it gets to that. No disrespect, but that just goes to show the sort of like lane you've created for yourself and not just limiting yourself to BMX.
Yeah, right.
What you've done with BMX and what you've done to kind of like bring it to the masses is, like I said, among action sports athletes is one of one. Like,
we could talk about all the shit he's done. Let's talk about the shit with Nike.
Right.
Yeah.
The shoe.
First BMX athlete signed a Jordan?
Yeah, man. First BMX athlete signed a Jordan and to have my own Jordan 1. You know what I mean? And just even those moments, right? Like those are testaments to the hard work and the grind.
Right.
I've been doing this for a very long time. I was having a conversation earlier today where I was like, man, people may look at it and be like, oh, you only been on for like 5 or 6, 7 years. Like,
man.
I've been pro for 17 years, bro. And then all the years to even get to that point, right? And then when you look at the things I'm doing, like it's not just like, oh, Nigel shows up and things happen.
No.
Like anyone around me, you can
proper
ask them.
Planning.
All the strategizing is like 24 hours a day, right? Like it's one strategizing what like I'm gonna do on my bicycle, then what the content looks like, then what's the business model behind that, what do these brand partnerships look like? Like it's all the things like that we're doing, and I'm so meticulous with all those details because you have to be, right? Like there's no blueprint to this BMX shit, right? Like
you're making the blueprint.
We're making it right now,
right?
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I could look at a certain dude and be like, "I bet cool, like I'm gonna do boom, 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 boom." Like there were certain guys like Dave Mirra, Matt Hoffman, but that was just a different generation, a different time. You know what I mean? Like in Dave Mirra's like prime and in Matt Hoffman's prime, social media did not exist. Right? The world has changed so much with the internet. So that blueprint is being created now and like we're doing it. So I'm involved in every aspect of my business. And that's something I would tell any creative, any athlete, any person that's like wants to rise to like a legit level. You have to be a part of every aspect of your business and know what's going on.
And like, my question to that is, we're all deep in you know, in the trenches of our culture and in the process of our culture. You know, I do my radio shows with Apple. I do this. I do other stuff,
which is amazing, bro. Congrats to you,
and I appreciate that.
I love seeing your face on the on the Apple. I know this guy right here.
Yes,
As I'm going to go play some Jay-Z shit.
I appreciate that. And then, you know, Kaz with MSG and everything else outside of that. You know, is there a part where you do get frustrated with the process and the building and the strategizing where you just say, damn, I just want to fucking ride my bike, the thing that got you there? Because I know the phone calls, the emails, the meetings, the back and forth, I know some of those things do frustrate you because you are human and you're a creative first. You're, you know, you're a biker first. Do you ever have those moments it's like, man, fuck all this shit. I just want to ride my bike?
Of course. All the time. Because like you said, I'm human.
Right.
And this shit is hard. The other day I texted Crystal like, yo, this like raising the bar and chasing success and
building a blueprint.
Building it. This shit is hard, bro. You know, but at the same time, I love the grind. Like, you know, like that like one line in Paid in Full that Mitch says after Ace got shot. I love the hustle. Like,
are they still gonna love me?
They still gonna love me, man.
I literally love this shit. I wake up every morning, thank God, and I look forward to the process. Yeah. You know, like the end result is great, right? And I love to see things come to fruition, but the process of building it, I actually enjoy that. You know, like when as a kid, I would take things apart and put them back together and try to figure out how things work. And I find enjoyment in that process. So yeah, like there are times, but we just like work through those, bro. Like I would much rather deal with those challenges
than the other problems you had before.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like it could be way worse, man. So
Nigel, you've been in the game for 17 years and you've seen so many changes within the action sports. And I remember like way back when where an action sports athlete, whether it be a skateboarder or a biker or a snowboarder or something like that, it would almost be like almost taboo to be working with corporations, right? It was almost like, oh man, this guy's he's not doing it for the right reasons. He's a poser and all this type of shit.
There's a lot of rebellion and
it's a rebellious sport. You know what I'm saying? Just within the BMX community, how did you sort of like navigate yourself through that? Like you first off, you black. Right. You young, you know what I mean?
Queens.
You from Queens. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things about you that doesn't fit, you know, what was thought of when it came to extreme athletes, extreme sport athletes 2 decades ago.
100%.
You kind of kicked the doors down and sort of rewrote the book on what it means to be that. How did you sort of navigate towards that and as a younger athlete when you were first starting to sort of figure it out as you rose as a BMX star?
Right. So just for the listeners too, like when you think about, or if you don't know, like action sports, right, across the board, a lot of it has this very anti-corporation attitude to it. But that's also what makes it so good, because it has that fuck you attitude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, when I was coming up, I was that kid as well,
right?
To a certain extent,
right.
But then I seen a dude like Dave Mirra, who's like on TV, winning X Games, driving around in gold 745, Beamers, big ass cribs. Like he was doing this thing, and I was like, well, hold on, like I kind of want to do that.
That was another side to this shit.
Right, that's another side to it. And then also growing up in Queens, right? Like I'm a little cat like riding around on Jamaica, Queens. I'm seeing my brother and his friends pulling up in Lexuses and 9.5 Maximas rimmed up, getting money. So I'm like, I want to do that, but I want to use my bike to do that. You know what I mean? So when I came into the game, which I also came into the game in a very interesting way, I was 17 and I met Dave Mirra for the first time. And at that point in time, Mirra was starting a BMX brand called Miracle, and he was looking for up and coming riders to put on.
Okay.
And when I met him, like the idea was swirling around, but it wasn't like it's gonna happen for sure. It was still up in the air.
Right.
And I met him in North Carolina at his like facility again. So I got to see him for the first time. So remember this, right? Like as a kid, I'm growing up watching him on TV for years.
So you get to see him
in the
physical,
bro. And when we pulled it from his crib, he wasn't there yet. So we're sitting in like the one of those like dollar vans that we drove down. We drove from New York down to North Carolina. Damn. Budget was small, right?
But you got it done,
right? We got it done. So we chilling in the van, and we hear this sound. It sounds like a spaceship, and lo and behold, is Mirra come up the block. He has some crazy souped out Beamer, like crazy joint sound. I've never heard a car sound like this before at this point in time in my life.
And now you got a couple like that.
He's up until that
point. Right? But it's so crazy because like exposure is so important, right? And I say all of that to say that he was living a certain lifestyle that a lot of BMX riders weren't living. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I looked up to that. So met him, took a liking to me. At the same time, I met a dude named Mark Lowkey, who would later on become the Nike team manager. So, and Mirra and Lowkey have been friends forever. Lowkey's also an incredible photographer. A lot of the photography you see early in my career, like Lowkey shot those photos. So I was telling you guys when I turned pro, I leave North Carolina. A couple weeks later, Mirra calls my phone. Right, and I'm got a Sprint flip phone joint.
We all had them. We all had them.
I walk outside.
I had a StarTag back in the day. Remember the StarTag joint?
I had the Motorola. I had the 750i Motorola, the Cola joint.
Oh, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
This is how we was good.
Yeah, we was good. You gotta take a
memory lane. Memory jumps back in.
So now I walk at the crib, talking to Mirra on the phone. Listen, I'm gonna start this team, and I'm gonna sign you. Incredible.
Okay.
Like, life changer. A couple weeks after that, I get the call from Mark Lowkey. Yo, we want to sign you to Nike. So I turned 18 and I signed to Miracle Bikes and Nike within a matter of weeks.
Wow.
So your life just does a 180.
Complete 180, bro.
Crazy.
How do you handle that?
I mean, no one can prepare you for that, right?
No one teaches you how to deal with that.
No one teaches you how to deal with that.
So you're a kid from Queens and your passion, and now you know the people you look up to are saying, yo, you're the next one, or we want you over here.
You get to meet Mike?
I didn't get to meet
Mike. Everybody's got a weird Mike story. Like
I don't have one.
I don't. CJ ain't tell you that? That's definitely an off-air conversation.
We're focusing on Nigel right now.
I do want to hear that story.
We'll talk about that one day.
But so life changes entirely, right? So being this kid growing up in Jamaica, Queens, right? There's no one around me that can prepare me or talk to me like this was going to happen in life. Like, so I'm like a fish out of water in a sense. But I do have amazing parents and amazing home like environment. So I know like basic life shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this is how you gotta walk into a room. It's how you have to handle things, be responsible, like treat people with respect.
Right.
And it was those lessons that I learned at home that helped me navigate early on. Then I started to meet certain people that would take a liking to me and give me a little like, yo, this is a little advice here or a little advice there, which super appreciative of. You know what I mean?
You bring up the parents, and as a creative, sometimes the parents have a different, view of life for you. Like my parents had a different view of life for me from what I was doing, like blogging, hosting, radio. Like they didn't understand none of that shit. So I can imagine you growing up in Queens, Jamaica, Queens. How did they look at just you jumping into this, obscure world?
How supportive were they?
Were they supportive? Was there pushback?
I'm about to say, you Jamaican, Trey?
Grenadian.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So
like both my mom and my dad.
So some parents are like, as long as you're happy. Some parents like, that's not gonna bring the bills. Some parents are like, go to school.
I gotta know what it was.
Yeah,
like.
What was it like during this whole process?
It was what you thought it was be like. Like my parents didn't get it at all.
Right.
My mom was about like, you gonna do what? Yeah.
You gonna ride a bike?
You gonna make videos?
Yeah, like what? Like they didn't understand like the industry, right? And also you think about a couple of things, right? Like I'm first generation, so my parents left Grenada, came to New York for opportunity. So it was like, cool, go to school, graduate, get a job, 9 to 5. And that's it. That's all they knew, right? Because they weren't exposed to other things. So I can't blame them for that. And it was at the core of it, they just wanted to protect me, make sure I was good.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That's what stuff should really matter to them. So love them the long way. And I feel also with them pushing back on me in that way, it made me go harder. I was like, I have to make this work.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to.
Because you still want to make them proud, but you still want to do what you want to do. So it's
you want to prove them wrong.
That's
literally all that was, with me. I'm like, nah, you don't think I know what I'm doing? Which I didn't. But I'm like, I'm gonna make it work.
Right.
And I figured it out the long way and made it work. And once they really saw, they were like, oh, that's what you was doing this whole time. I'm like, I was trying to tell y'all. I just didn't know how to tell you.
Like you didn't have the words.
Yeah,
or you
knew what you wanted.
To articulate that in a sense, man. It takes time.
Was there a proof of concept moment for you with them? Was it like when the 2 deals happened, or was it before that? Where there?
I mean, even when the deals happened, bro, like it was dope, but it wasn't like I was getting like real money yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
coming in as like a first time pro. Like it was still had to work through the process.
A moment where they were like, okay, this is real.
Oh, for sure. Like and I've told this story before. Like my first global Nike campaign, it became real.
They were like, oh, okay, okay.
Like I'm talking about
Do what you want.
Right. Like you good now. We're talking about a campaign that's global, Colombia, like
Jeez.
Tokyo, China, London, Paris, like it was wild, bro. I think I was I was 19 at that point in time.
Like that's our son. Oh, okay, man.
Right.
All the stuff he's been doing, and why is he doing that? Where is he going? Who's he with? Oh, he was doing that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I see the vision.
Yeah, I see the vision. And then I think it was like a year later, I signed to Gatorade. And at that point in time, I was like, okay, cool. Now we're
cooking with gas.
Now we
understand what's going on.
Like when you go to the deli, that's my son. That's my little man's, right?
Like there were Gatorade bottles with my face on it. Like it was like, okay, cool. Like,
Crazy.
We get it now, man. But no, like I appreciate, especially my mom putting that pressure on me to be like, what you doing right now?
Have to.
You know what I mean? Because like, they were like, so like my mom, she worked nighttime. She was a nurse, so she worked 12-hour shifts. So she would come home in the morning and I'd be sleeping and she'd come and start yelling at me.
Why you not
What
up?
you doing?
Right.
Why you dropped out of school, all of this? Like, I dropped out of college.
Yeah.
So I would get up before my mom got home and went out and rolled all day.
Just to hear.
Just to avoid the argument. Just
That's
to
how you got so
avoid-
good.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta thank moms. Moms
Got
pushed
to.
you out the crib and was like, all right, like I don't want to hear this
100%.
shit, so let me go ride and just get this shit right.
100%. And
I
then
like
also,
that.
and then also, like my brother got it, so he would kind of ease that pain a little bit. But it was still
He'd
she
be
was
the
still,
shield sometimes.
Right, sometimes being that shield, which I appreciate, man.
Yeah,
but it was
that's
still
love.
like she was putting that pressure on me, man. And again, like I thank her for that, right? So because on one end, she showed me what hard work looks like. She would go and work a double sometimes or a triple. And then still come home and take care of the household. So I'm seeing it on that end. And then she's also putting pressure on me. So I'm like, okay, again, like I gotta make this work. One, just for myself. Two, for her sacrifice as well. Like you spoke about earlier, making your parents proud and proving them wrong at the same time. So, man, you know, everything happened for a reason.
Man,
That's
you
beautiful.
mentioned Dave Mirra earlier, and he was extremely influential on your career and life. And he's one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, I just want to dive more into that relationship because you know there was you, there's Dave Mirra, and you know we unfortunately lost him several years ago. But you know, what was your relationship with Dave Mirra like?
It was, you know, it was like the master and the apprentice.
Yeah, he was the sensei.
Right, he
You
was
know
the
what I mean?
sensei, man. Like, cause everything that I would eventually go through, he's been through it. You know, it's like there was times I would call him like, "Yo, bro, they hating on me. Blogs is writing about me crazy because they calling me a sellout or they don't understand like the path I'm going." And they was only doing those things. I understand now it was clickbait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
your name brings headlines.
exactly.
So like, yo, we
It's
could
gonna-
throw that
it's-
in there.
It's going to
and
bring
work.
views. It's going to bring comments. You know what I mean? And these are things that he dealt with. You know, we talking about him at the top of his game. Harold Bikes, Slim Jim, like Adidas. Like you riding for major corporations. You on TV every day. You can't go outside without seeing your face. Video games. Like he was doing it. You know what I mean? So there were times where I would hit him up and he would just give me advice. You know what I mean? And I definitely miss him, bro, man. Like, I wish he was here to see all the stuff.
The fruits of his
watching
labor,
down.
almost.
Right, like even like his bet on me. You know what I mean? Like
He's one of the first people to be like, yo.
to really give me a shot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, and not to sound like corny or whatever, but I'm sure, like, the things that are happening to you, for you, with you, are, you know, a branch of his spiritual connection almost, putting you in the
see
right,
that.
you know, putting you in the right direction, putting you in the right rooms, you know,
see that.
helping you make the right decisions, coming up with the right strategies, and still sticking to the things that he saw in you 20 years ago.
Right. And I also think about it too, like my route is completely different than his route.
Yeah.
Right. So he came up like I'm gonna ride contests and I'm gonna kill X Games and be the biggest BMX rider in the world. My route was completely opposite. I didn't care about contests. I used the internet. You know what I mean? I used different things to get to where I'm at, man. So it's dope though, man. Like to be part of like that tree.
Yeah.
You
That
feel me?
lineage.
That lineage,
Yeah.
right. It's a blessing, man.
Did you ever like, is there any part of you that wishes you did a little bit more competitions or?
Nah.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all,
I can tell this nigga's like,
Not at
I'm
all.
good with where I'm at.
Listen, like,
I'm
look,
straight.
like taking a step back and looking at the whole picture now, not at all.
He's like, yeah, I made the right choice.
Yeah, like I'm on my fly shit. I'm on my, like, I'm cool, like, yo.
I'm chilling.
And there's no disrespect to like
Not at
anyone who
all.
does, but it's just like, yo, bro, that wasn't for me.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of, not to gas it up, you kind of transcended the sport.
That's what I was going to
You know what I'm saying?
So much bigger than BMX.
Yeah, like, I don't know what an X Games gold medal would do for you more than a Nike campaign would.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At this point in time, you're right. You know what I mean? So, and also, man, the thing about it that I realized years ago is like, and I became also a little bit obsessed with it. I was like, I want to break the mold, right? Because
Push the envelope.
Because like a lot of times I'm sitting in rooms and people can only define a BMX rider by that.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, like I want to break that perception down and be like, no, I'm so much more than
There's another lens y'all can look through.
100%. I'm so much more than going to go out a contest.
Right.
Right. Like, don't box me into just that. I can do all the other things over here.
Listen,
And I feel it's important that people can see different. Again, like we said, like no disrespect to anyone that's doing it that route.
Right.
Go ahead and do that. But now we're showing people a different perspective of it. It can be done in more than one way. You know what I mean? And I feel like that attitude for me, that mentality, comes from watching dudes like Pharrell or Hove or Diddy, how they broke the mold with hip hop and like took it to, and with the music and took it to a level that people didn't imagine it could happen.
Yeah.
On, you know what I mean?
and I see now that's very, very glad because I think we're on the same level. You took it where I wanted to go, right? Kaz asked the question earlier, what gets you out of bed? What makes you do this? What drives you? And you're out here, you're around the world, you're hearing different types of music, but you're from Queens, a very big staple in hip hop. You're writing every fucking day.
Right.
What's in those AirPods? What's in those, what's in those headphones when you're doing these goal campaigns or when you're just writing on your own? Like what music drives you? And it just doesn't have to be hip hop. There's a lot of other types of genres that can push you to a new limit. But what's on your playlist or what gets you like, all right, when I hear this song, when I hear this artist, when I hear this album, we're gonna create some shit today.
It's always different, bro. Like it can be, of course, it could be like Rockefeller. Like, that's like that whole, I was still
That
coming
whole
over
era,
here, that whole era, bro.
yeah.
I got a playlist that just got 3 diamonds on it, and it's like all my Rockefeller joints, Dipset, whatever the case may be, just that, of course.
Yeah.
It could also be Capleton, you know what I mean? Like, I'm riding to some reggae joints.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It can be Barris Hammond, you know what I mean? Like, it can be that as well. Sometimes I'm riding to Brent. It could be that, you know what I mean? Like, it can just be a slew of different like artists and the different genres of music. It just depends on how I feel that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's some Afrobeat joints, you know what I mean? It can be, it could just be a lot of different things that I'm listening to.
Music's so tied into what you do. Does that do you use that as kind of like the blank canvas when you're gonna create like a video or create some sort of like project with people? Are you thinking music first, or are you thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do something and then put the music behind it? What sort of like what comes first?
It's depending on what the project is, but usually the music comes second.
Okay.
But there's times, right, where like I'm riding to a song, and like when I'm riding to a song, I'll listen to that song on repeat, and I stay right in that pocket. And I've noticed recently that I'll ride to the beat of that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the words and the when you're in that pocket, that doesn't mean too much to you. Just the instrumentation, the production.
Yeah, it's just
the intensity of it.
It's the intensity of the music. Even there's a video I filmed recently. I put it on my gram where I'm riding to the Quavo and Takeoff joint, the Hotel Lobby joint.
Yeah.
Shit fire, by the way.
Right, fire.
Shit fire, by the
And
way.
I end up using that song
Love
for the video.
Offset, but maybe the choices had to be made, bro, because there was some bangers on there.
Hotel lobby,
Right.
and bars into captions. Those
Fire.
that fire as fuck.
Yeah,
My fault.
but I wrote to that song and like I was like, I'm gonna use this song for the video because I was just in that like space. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's music, sometimes it's the music of it. Other times it's the words. Sometimes the actual lyrics that I'm like, oh no, I'm feeling what this artist is saying.
yeah, because
You know
it
what I
kind
mean?
of feels like what I'm trying to say, but through my writing and through.
Exactly.
Have you had any encounters with like any of your like favorite musicians, producers that just come up to you and say like, yo, bro, you one of them ones? Any
Man.
story that sticks out that damn I remember that night?
My phone's going off right now. I don't know why.
It's probably
The money calling, bro. So you know what time.
Surprise,
It's still in the middle of the day on a
Yeah,
Thursday,
it's
so
Friday,
you know
NBA.
it ain't Friday yet.
I mean, like the other day, I was in Milan and had an amazing conversation with Pharrell, and he was just letting me know, like, yo, bro, like, I've been watching what you was doing, and like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what you're doing is remarkable, man, and just keep going. Like, don't stop.
That was the first time you met him?
No, I've known Pete for a long time, bro.
Okay, but just that conversation.
Yeah, just that conversation. It was random. Like, I was out in Milan for the Moncler fashion show, and I was sitting in a hotel just having a glass of wine. And him and people walked in. I was like, oh, what's good? And see you in a minute. And we started chopping it up. We spent hours together, like him and his team, myself. We were just sitting there kicking it. And throughout that conversation, just showing love, man, and like letting me know that, like, listen, what you're doing, again, is special, bro. Like dream as big as you can. Just keep pushing forward, you know? And like, that was so dope to hear that during that point in time, you know what I mean? One, because coming up as a young black kid in Queens, wanting to ride BMX on a level that I wanted to ride on wasn't common.
Right.
Two, there was certain videos that P were riding. There were certain videos that P rode BMX bikes in that I used to see. I was like, oh, that's dope, right? There's someone on this level.
Yeah, like I'm thinking the lap dance video. Was it a lap dance video or the
lap dance?
Wait, who
the
wrote,
first NERD album?
Who
there
wrote?
Was BMX
did he ride? Did he ride a bike in the Family video?
No, it was the Provider video.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a lap dance video.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like riding down the street. You got a bunch of bike riders behind them.
Oh, baby, you want me?
Right.
No, I did. I just just that setup to how you and P had that conversation. You're in Milan. You're drinking wine from the Moncler fashion show. I just want to let you know how that setup made me feel like, all right, my nigga, like,
I was like, damn.
There's a couple more tears. There's a couple more tears I gotta get to.
Couple more levels.
But I'm glad, and and the funny thing, like, that was just like a joke, but the funny thing about that whole process and just coming from where you're coming from and just having that conversation with a pivotal figure like that, I know there's somebody back in Queens or in Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Compton, or, the west side of Chicago, seeing someone like you and saying like, yo, he looks just like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? He talks just like me. He dresses, he listens to the shit that I listen to. Like, have you ever had a conversation with a random fan person who recognizes your work, knows who you are, knows your lineage? Has anyone like that looks like us come up to you and be like, yo, you're giving me another source of, inspiration?
To add to that, like, especially knowing that you probably didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you didn't have somebody to look at that looked like
Have you had those experiences?
Yeah, like there are kids that come up to me all the time. Like, man, like, I grew up watching what, like, you ride, and what you're doing has been a huge source of inspiration or motivation. It's like, man, like, it's always dope to hear that, because sometimes, like, I do feel like, man, are people paying attention to what's going on right now? Like, do they see how crazy this is? That's one. And then two, like for me growing up, like, again, to that point, like, having someone like P, like, on music videos on MTV, BET, like, riding BMX bikes, like, that's dope. But then I also pull from other places, right? Where it's like, even if it's not BMX per se, but just someone that's changing the game, someone that's pushing the bar in their own lane, I feel that's also something that has motivated me throughout my life. Like, even watching someone like MJ, like, ball out crazy. Man.
Yeah.
Like, watching, like, Braun, everything he's done for the game.
Even like Tiger Woods.
Right, Woods, like, Serena. You know what I mean? There's so many people, I feel, who have just, like, changed the game, raised the bar, and, like, I find motivation, inspiration in those people as well.
I don't know if this, as we're talking and just as knowing you, I don't know if this is, to me, I think it's an accurate comparison. I look at you sometimes and I get flashes of, like, Allen Iverson.
That's crazy. Someone else said that to me recently, man.
Yeah.
I get flashes of Allen Iverson because the way you move and the way you operate and the way you convey your art or whatever it is unorthodox. You know what I'm saying? But there are parts of you, majority of people that want to take from you and do that and be who you are, because then he stayed the same. He didn't.
This is authentic.
He just literally stayed in his box. You know what I mean? And people came to him.
Right.
And I feel like that's something that you and him share, vividly. Like, do you feel?
Yeah, like, it's crazy. I was in a design session maybe like 3 weeks ago, and the designer was like, yo, bro, I was thinking about other athletes that are, like, similar to you that we can use as a point of reference. Because a lot of times, too, man, you get in some of these rooms, and people, they need a reference point, because their imagination and their mind can't wrap
It's only so limited.
Right.
Sometimes I got to give them something to spark, like
open the memory.
I
get that. Yeah, that's what that is.
People like look at me like, hold on, you ride bikes, you're from, okay, you don't compete in contests, but then all these big brands work with you, and you're doing all these things over here, and you're creating over here, and it's confusing for them. So we was talking like, man, he's like, yo, Allen Iverson, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
Yo, shout out to my guy Mike for saying that. But it's crazy you say it now too. But
that's what I say.
It's interesting. Maybe the universe is trying to say something.
Maybe AI's gonna watch this.
Maybe AI's gonna see this and be like, yo, who's this?
Can't be footwear. Can't be footwear.
And I also want to just point out how next time you do come, just let me know that you're gonna wear like a brand new pair. Because it was no, because it's raining and it's like they're not that bad.
They're not that bad today.
But so, I mean, I'm just like, just let me know, like, yo, or just have Crystal tell me, like, why he's got a new pair on today. You might want to bring one too.
You should just assume.
You should just assume.
I should, but like I thought it was raining, so maybe he come in with some Timbs or like, I don't know.
This is why I can't do Uptown. When
I left the crib, it wasn't raining yet.
Yeah, like
because I know he got a new pair in the car too. So like I'm not even like I ain't even.
It's like a white tee for you, bro.
Yo, the all white Air Force One low thing is a problem.
It is, bro.
It's a problem, bro.
I've been trying for years with this man, but
Low is who he is. I'm a creature of habit, bro. Like Nigel, you know, every time I see you, like I'm a creature of habit. You know, white tee, some sweats, this, that. Like I just Yankee hat, Yankee. Right. I'm a creature of habit.
It's like a cartoon character. Like you know he's gonna be in that. Like it's.
I'm sorry, man. Like hey, listen.
As you should be, man.
That's just. I mean, and that's what got you to where you are. You were a creature of habit, and you did what you did, and you stayed true to who you were, and that was that. Like,
random question. I peeped you at the Intergalactic premiere for Netflix with Cudi. And Cudi's character rides his bike around there. Like I don't know, what did you catch wind of that? Was that something that like were you know what I mean, like a part of that sort of like influence? Like what was that? Or what was it like just for you seeing that?
We actually just dropped a video on Instagram like an hour ago.
Really?
Where it's like I'm riding and then that character is riding as well.
I knew it.
It cuts back and forth.
I knew there was something there. Once I saw you there, once I saw you there and I saw the bike, I was like, something's happening.
Kaz, I think like we need to form some kind of like, you know, marketing consulting because the Allen Iverson shit that his man said to him a couple days ago. Yeah. And now the Kid Cudi shit that he just filmed an hour ago. I see. Bro, I think we lied. Like there's something in the stars that we do.
I see you and Kenya Barris kicking it.
He just connected dots right
now.
Bro,
I'm connecting, man. Like, bro, we connected mad dots. You put the aluminum foil hat on.
Man. I keep my ears to the show. I seen you and Kenya Barris talking shit. I'm like, all right, I see what's happening.
We're not gonna give away now. We don't know what the fuck this nigga got planned, but we see it.
The next one you gotta pay for.
We see it. Next one you gotta pay for that next time.
Man, we'll keep talking about career, but you mind if you just shoot the shit with us for the next few minutes,
man? If you gotta move, you gotta
move. Let's get to it, bro.
What y'all talking about?
Low, man. Yo, my man Draymond, bro. What's good with Draymond, son?
Nothing's good with. No. I don't mean that in the back.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, see now, because I had a very. It was
Tuesday. I've been saving this convo for a while.
Tuesday night, I was on Twitter, right? And I was just talking about like, you know, teammates, you know, and no matter what the sport is, teammates fight. Right. Because we have access to shit, because social media is so prevalent, now things are being exposed, and now we're just like, oh my God. What happened in that or what happened in that practice facility has happened around every sports culture. Listen to me. Now, was he wrong? Draymond was completely wrong for many reasons. For one, how he hit him. Two, who he hit. And three, you being the dog and you being the OG on that team. You got to exude confidence.
You're the emotional leader of that team.
And I get it. I understand. Yeah. My only thing, what I was trying to convey on my timeline is like, bro, this stuff happens. These are grown men who are competing, who get mad at their teammates because they know that there's other things in that person's body that you're not giving us.
Right.
And from the conversations that Jordan Poole was having around, like, you know, making the jokes and this, that, and the third.
Triple single?
Sometimes niggas need to be punched in their mouth.
Let me tell you something.
You could tell who has not been punched in their mouth. Like on my timeline, I can tell which one of y'all motherfuckers. Bro, like, oh my God, you're condoning, you know, people getting hit. I'm like, bro, it's sports. This is a physical, mentally draining sport, and people lose their shit sometimes, and they're wrong.
I see where you're coming from.
Draymond is wrong. bro, like niggas is pussy.
I ain't never seen this in a game.
Niggas is pussy, bro.
Hold on. How do you guys feel about them releasing the footage?
That's the only
crazy.
thing.
That's
the
crazy.
only. That was wild.
First off,
that's wild.
It's not that crazy. First off,
it is. He sold it what for 2.6?
Do you know how much?
Who sold it?
I don't know if it's 2.6 million. I think that's confirmed.
Somebody confirmed.
I think somebody from the Warriors facility sold the video to TMZ for.
You gotta pay someone enough to get hired
for a very hefty amount of change. That video ain't cheap.
That video,
whatever it was. I'm saying the reason why I don't think it's crazy is because they do live in the Bay Area and the rent up there is pretty crazy. And I'm pretty sure that video intern that worked at the Warriors the juice was worth the squeeze at that point. He was like, "You about to pay me how much for this video? Shit, let me throw my cell phone on and record it."
And that's
which is wild.
That's literally the only problem I have with this situation.
So I hear where you're coming from with this, right?
That's the only problem.
And
I mean, yes, that's the only problem I have.
Several other problems there, but I see where you're coming from with this. My thing is context matters here. Right? Bro. Context matters.
And the context is what?
They're a championship team already. Things like this happen when teams need to get to that extra level, need that extra boost or something, or they're just not good and there's whatever. That's the way they communicate. The Golden State Warriors are supposed to be like the model franchise. Like they're supposed to be like, yo.
Did this not happen in Chicago?
Of course.
Right. So
of course.
So what are we saying?
But at the same time,
Jordan was
going to give you 35 too. Like, let's keep it a buck.
All right, but if you're making the point that they're already a championship team, by that time when Michael snuffed Curry, they had what, 4 or 5 already?
If Curry did it would be different.
Understood.
They already have 4 or 5. So what are we saying?
I'm getting to it. What I'm trying to say is that context matters because 1, they're already a championship team. 2, you're supposed to be the emotional leader. 3, your free agency's coming up. 4, Jordan Poole's about to get paid what, like $100-something million of some extension. He's the two involved parties, and the reason why Steve Kerr is like, this is the hardest thing that our team has ever had to deal with, is because there's a strong possibility that this is going to be Draymond Green's last season with the Warriors anyway.
There's a little financial tension.
It's a financial tension, and they're like, do we pay Draymond to stay, or do we pay this guy who's a young stud who gets buckets?
It's clearly Jordan Poole in that scenario.
I get.
So if I'm Draymond Green, and like I've been here the whole time to help build this dynasty, I feel like I'm about to be on the chopping block pretty soon. I've already planted the seeds that like, yo, I want to be a Laker. When this is all said and done, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I have a problem with. I'm like, bro, like, don't sabotage this shit.
Like, what's the actual problem, though? The problem in that...
He hasn't articulated the problem.
Right, what's the problem?
What's the problem?
The problem I have is that, like, bro, he comes off like... First off, you're an older guy, you're an OG.
Which is what I addressed that.
You're supposed to be able to handle yourself better. I know he shoved you first. I know that.
You put your team in a tough spot.
You put your team in a tough spot. You put your coach in a tough spot. You put everybody on, like, they should be talking about repeating, ring night, all this other shit. Like, they're coming back with more talent than they had in years. Wiseman's coming back. They're odds-on favorites to do it again. That's what should be the conversation. But if you call yourself a leader, and especially an emotional, got to call it an emotional leader because we all know Steph's the real leader there, right? Mm-hmm. But you're like you are the motivational leader of that team. You can't be punching your teammates like that.
All right, so
you can't.
Again, video doesn't get leaked. We're talking about something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still fucked up.
No. Okay. We know.
Like even though Jordan did it to Kerr, it was still fucked up that he did that.
Did I not just say what he did was bad?
For sure. 100% what he did is wrong.
And I said this. I conveyed this on Tuesday. I do not condone the behavior at all.
Right.
But now we're starting to talk about things that we're not involved in. We're starting to talk about contracts. We're starting to talk about trading. We're starting to talk about, someone's career ending at this team.
Yeah.
We're not. That has, to me, that's the analysis in you because that's who you are. If we're talking about music and something happened with Rockefeller and this, I probably put my hat on too and start going crazy. I can understand that. But but me just being the person who I am. And trying to trying to strip all the meat and potatoes and just look at it for what it is. I just believe that you keep calling him the emotional leader. And I think in this particular situation, his emotions got the best of him. And now he's taking it to a point where he's like, yo, you know what? I'm going to step away from the team. I'm going to keep the focus off me so they can focus on opening ring night against the Lakers next Tuesday.
In addition to that, not even just the emotional leader, he is like an indispensable part of that dynasty. Like that team, as great as Steph is, as great as Clay is, as great as KD was when he was there, that team don't move the same without Draymond.
Right. Draymond matters so much.
He
to that
matters,
team, right? But the other part about it is like when you're that great and you're fighting to maintain that greatness, it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult. Getting there is one thing. Maintaining
staying there is another.
It's a whole other thing, right? So someone that like Draymond, who is that motivational leader, that emotional leader, he's gonna have those emotions, and I feel he needs to have some of those emotions.
Bro, you gotta have some of those moments where it's like, I gotta knock some emotion into some of y'all niggas.
Yeah,
right.
So
He
have to. He's had a lot of those moments.
like no matter how you do it,
like
no matter.
He's had those moments though that where it may have gone too far. Like
KD.
What's the KD stuff? We don't know what was said between him and KD, but we know it was bad, and we know it was eventually led to KD being like, "I'm good. I'm going to Brooklyn."
Right.
We don't know, like the game 6 against Cleveland, where he's kicking LeBron in the nuts, and he knew he had X amount of technical fouls. He had to sit out a game, bro. That's the reason that series goes 7, and LeBron eventually wins another title. It's a whole different NBA. It's a whole different league if that doesn't happen. I understand playing with the edge. I understand playing with emotion and being that fiery guy all the time. But like being able to control that is a skill. And sometimes when you get a little older and you're starting to lose that physical thing, you have to overcompensate.
What did I say to him? What did I say to him earlier in the interview? I said, you're human first.
Yes.
Right, 100%.
Right? So as a human, your heart, your passion, your mental, your just that thing comes out. Whether you're a banker, whether you're a biker, podcaster, analysis, you know.
Why you pick me as the banker?
No, we're not touching that. Not this week. Not this week.
No matter what field you're in, you do have an emotional spark. You do have that motivational thing that is gonna get my coworkers, my field to be like, yo, this is serious, right? Yeah. We're in training camp. We're up for another title. The league is looking very fresh right now. Yeah. Brooklyn is looking how they looking. LA's looking how they looking. Milwaukee's looking how they looking. Memphis, this and the third. Bro, they're coming for us, right? So if we don't have that dog in this facility, they're going to chew us up alive. Now, I'm not condoning how Draymond conveyed that message. But what I'm saying is I'm not mad for him punching somebody in the face to understand how deep
I think I'm upset because I've been I've been punched in the face during practice before. Too. No, during practice. Like
I've been punched in the face.
What happened?
And it shifts your shit.
Wait, this is very relevant. This is very relevant experience.
This is my
before you jump into this, I do have to bounce.
Okay. Oh, goddamn, Nigel, bro. Let's wrap this up real quick. Nigel Sylvester, your new book, Go.
Yes.
Rosy Books. Congratulations on that. It's available now. Just came out this Tuesday.
Appreciate that.
I mean, you got the Yankee stuff going, the Nike stuff.
Mercedes.
The list goes.
Bro, I did my research, bro. I did my research.
Goes
We're
on.
working. Like I said, it's can't stop, won't stop, man.
Anything you want to sell to the people, you know, where you going to be at next or whatever the case is.
You dropping new shoes?
Yeah.
You get this.
You got a joke?
No.
You got jokes?
I saw some shoes.
Nah. We just unveiled a new colorway to my Jordan 1.
Hey.
So, you know, hit the
when's that?
Instagram.
Yo, this nigga looked at me like, instead of Air Force Ones, Jordan 1's low.
He'll make you feel better when he comes in with his own Jordan 1s.
Like I said, we in can't stop, won't stop mode right now.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Very proud of you, man. I'm glad that we got you here, and
likewise.
You've been a blueprint. You've been a friend. You've been, a drinking buddy, but but nah, thank you, man. This is Nigel Sylvester right here. Get that book, get that book go very, very, very soon. And thank you, man.
Nah, you already know. Thank you,
appreciate
boys.
it. Queens in the building.
Big Queens.
Hey, Lo, anything you want to say before we get out of here, man?
I'm just appreciative that my man came through. Rosy, we're going to have a talk later.
Rosy, I'm upset.
At any point, if you feel the need to punch your coworker in the face, do so.
Hey, that didn't come from us. That
Only in sports. Not in the corporate world.
You take that advice if you want to. We'll see how far that goes. Make sure you're tapping in on this feed on Say Less Daily, dropping 30-minute daily podcasts, short joints. You'll see special guests. You'll see these guys pop in here and there every morning. Just tune into the feed, log in, and of course, sign into the Patreon, patreon.com/sayless. As we continue to build that out, we're going to give you exclusive quality content on there that you can only pay for. There's so many folks that want to financially support the show.
Right.
Here is your chance. Patreon.com/sayless. We'll catch you in there. That's it for today's episode, though, man. Appreciate y'all kicking it. For our guest, Nigel Sylvester, Jake, Lowkey, like we always do at this time, stay free, stay safe, and always say less.
I'm hitting the Foot Locker right now.
Catch you next week.
Fresh pair?